Hey guys, welcome into today's video. We are through the bye week, and with only 5 games left in the year, this is usually the time of year when younger players start to really come along and get bigger roles. Last week, Lincoln Riley was asked about what players he could see having expanded roles in this final part of the season.
Any of those other guys who come immediately to mind?
Oh yeah, I think there's several. I mean, I'd put Latrell in that category. I'd put Covington in that category. I put Rajon Davis in that category. I put Earl Barquette in that category. I put Mason Murphy in that category. I put Rayleek in that category. I put CJ Williams in that category. Michael Jackson, I put him in that category. I'm probably missing a few, honestly. I mean, there's several. You know, they're like doing some really good things for us, but you feel like really close to being ready to capitalize on the opportunity.
So I want to talk about 4 of those players today. What can we expect from these players? How will these players impact their respective side of the ball? And just how good can these players be? Alright guys, before we get into it, my USC recruiting roundup will be out on Thursday. We will be taking a deep dive into 2024 quarterback DJ Lagway, including his plans to visit USC later this season. And my Arizona game preview will be out Friday evening. Alright guys, now that that's taken care of, let's dive into it, and let's start with Rayleek Brown. Now Rayleek is someone I thought was going to have a huge role from the very start of the season. And we saw him have a huge first game against Rice, and it really seemed like the stage was set for him to truly become a star. But he picked up an injury in that game and really hasn't had a breakout performance since then. He seemed to get his full burst back a few weeks ago, but there's no doubt that this bye week will really help him heal up even more and be ready for a big push to end the year. When Lincoln Riley mentions Rayleek and players that could have bigger roles, it makes me think he's going to be used in the way we all thought from the beginning, in the slot. Taking jet sweeps, tunnel screens, bubble screens, getting the ball into his hands in space. He can be an absolute home run hitter, and having Rayleek take that next step and really cement his role into this offense would add an entirely new dimension and make this offense even harder to stop. We have slowly seen Rayleek eat into Austin Jones's carries and really become the number 2 back in this Lincoln Riley offense, so I would expect him to have a huge last half of the year. The next player I want to talk about is wide receiver Michael Jackson III. When Michael Jackson's name came up, I got really excited. I was high on Jackson last year and desperately wanted him to be used more. He is listed at 6 foot, 200 pounds, but he plays way bigger than that. He's a very physical guy with great hands, great run after catch ability, as we saw in the Utah game. And with the lack of production we have seen from Brendan Rice, I really think Michael can break out in a real big way. And what better way to build trust and chemistry with your quarterback than taking the first pass you get thrown all year to the house and the most important drive of the season. As we have seen with Caleb, trust is a really big thing. He's not just going to chuck the ball downfield to anybody. If it sees it's Jordan Addison or Mario Williams, he'll pull the trigger. So having a guy like Michael Jackson in there who can go up and win those contested balls is going to be a really big thing for this offense. Especially now with Jordan Addison's injury, if he misses any time at all, it would be huge to have another receiver break out into that starting group. And I really think Michael can do that. He has all the tools, he has the right mentality. I mean, you want to talk about staying ready and just being a great football player? He doesn't get one ball all year. They finally put him in late in the game against Utah, in one of the most hostile places to play in the entire country. He catches it and then he houses it. That's just big time football. He is going to be a special player if given the opportunity, and it sounds like he's going to be given that opportunity. The next player I want to talk about is everybody's favorite backup linebacker, Rajon Davis. Now, Rajon Davis is a name I have heard USC fans calling for literally every week since he's been on campus, and I completely understand why. He is an athletic freak at the linebacker position. He can run, he can cover. His run defense and physicality is a question, but I would have really liked to have seen him come in that Utah game and try to cover Dalton Kincaid. It's very exciting to hear that he might start getting some actual defensive opportunities in the coming weeks. And at this point, I personally haven't seen anything from Shane Lee or Raylan Goforth that tell me they should be playing over Rajon. They're 2 of the poorer tacklers on this USC defense. They are both liabilities in pass coverage as well, and that's the area where Rajon excels. So I would love to see him start getting actual defensive reps. Now, assuming Eric Gentry is healthy, a linebacker pairing of Gentry and Davis is just so exciting. That immediately becomes one of the most athletic linebacker duos in the entire country. I would love to see those guys flying around going sideline to sideline. Now, the last player I want to talk about is Corey Foreman. I will admit I was pleasantly surprised when I heard Lincoln Riley mention Corey Foreman. This is what Lincoln had to say about the former 5-star defensive end.
Hey, Lincoln, where have you seen Corey Foreman take strides over the course of the first half of the season? And maybe heading into the second half, where do you still need to see him kind of take strides in order to earn a bigger role?
I'd say the number one thing that he's done up to this point is he's stayed on the field, and he's been able to continue to practice and get better and get reps and get more comfortable with the things that we're asking that position to do. I think the thing we're looking for, kind of with all our guys, Corey included, is consistency. His good is outstanding, and he's got to go out there and trust it and play more consistent. And if he does that, he's going to have more and more opportunities. And he's certainly one of many guys that we look at right now and say, what a great time for him to really break through. And I feel like we have a lot of guys that are kind of primed, that have done a lot of good things, on the practice field, ready to take that next step and go earn a lot of reps on Saturdays. And so I think, again, I think he falls in the category of, there's probably 10 guys on the team right now that are like, man, they're really close to making a big impact on Saturdays for us. And if they'll stay the course, I keep working hard, keep improving in the areas that we challenge them to improve, then they're going to have those opportunities.
Now, Corey Foreman has been consistently playing since the Oregon State game, although he still isn't producing, but he is very close. It seems like he creates 2 to 3 pressures a game. He just hasn't taken the next step yet, which is creating game-changing plays by bringing the quarterback down. I have said multiple times this year that the key to this USC defense unlocking its full potential is Corey Foreman. He has the talent to become a #1 pick in the NFL draft. If he can realize his potential, that would take so much pressure off at Tooley and Eric Gentry. This defense would just explode, in my opinion. It was great to hear Lincoln reaffirm his confidence in Corey. After he didn't play a snap in the Oregon State game, I was really worried about his future at USC, but it seems like he's got a lot of those problems resolved. This defense desperately needs him to step up. Let's hope this bye week was just what Corey needed to be catapulted into the second half of the year. Alright guys, so those are the 4 players I wanted to focus on today. I'm also excited to watch what CJ Williams can contribute to this offense. Latrell McCutcheon and Jacoby Covington are also intriguing pieces in the secondary. A player that I think a lot of people have forgotten about is Jude Wolfe, who was a starter going into the year at that H-back position. I still think he is the most natural fit at that H-back spot that we have on the roster currently. Traditionally, in Lincoln Riley's offenses, the H-back is a vital position, so I can't wait to see him get back on the field and produce for this USC offense. Alright guys, so that'll do it for this video. Make sure you let me know down in the comments who you think is poised for a big last half of the season. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Fight on!